Okay, so say hello, Shock. You're a platform mid lane. You started playing Zoe this season after seeing your guide. The first few months you're very bad with her, but in the last months you feel like you've gotten better and better. Now you're winning at least half your Zoe games. Okay, we'd love to hear that. I don't know exactly what I need to work on, and I'm curious to see what deficits you identify and what learning goals you suggest. You've only noticed two things that happen repeatedly. I often fail to convert my lead to win, even though I was strong enough to potentially carry the game. The second thing is that in the mid game, I like to position too aggressively in the attempt to poke and underestimate the opponent's threat / engage on me. I feel that, like, yeah, when I was new to Zoe, I died to getting like engaged on all the time, so that's definitely really common. I guess like my suggestion for that would be to like identify which kind of engaged champs / tools they have and like try and think about how you're going to play around them. You know, there's going to be some champs where like Leona, for example, you kind of need to play over walls against, or if you're against something like Ornn, you know, he's just got like really long engage like throughout the whole lane. So then you might want to make sure that like you're only poking when you have your team next to you or something like that. So it's different for every champ. But yeah, just try and like think of a way. Well, first you have to identify what their engage tools are, and then you need to think of a way to kind of counter them. And generally, it's going to be either using your teammates to your advantage or using the terrain to your advantage. But that's super common on Zoe, especially if you were new to her. So yeah, don't feel too bad about that. You have another quick question about Zoe. On many mages, you freeze the wave against assassins to make it harder for them to all in you, and as a mage, you can trade more easily with them. Should I do the same as Zoe against these melee matchups, or does she always want the wave push, and her in the middle of the lane and never on her side? Yeah, that's an interesting question because, yeah, you're right. Zoe, unlike other mages, does have trouble harassing through the wave. You know, like Zoe has a difficult time, obviously, bubbling people if the wave's in front of her, and same with her Q. So on other mages, you kind of freeze the wave in order to extend your advantage and provide you more safety. Whereas Zoe, I think you'd only want to freeze the wave really to increase your safety. I don't think it extends your advantage that much, unless you're strong enough that you can like literally walk your opponent off the creeps. You know, I think if you're, it depends what melee champ you're against, because if you're say versus something like Zed or Aurelia, like you probably want the wave on your side anyway for safety. But you also kind of lack the strength to just like walk them off the wave, right? Because those champions are too strong. So it's like those, and that's why there's a difficult matchups for Zoe. But then if you had a champion like Silas you can potentially be strong enough to just like walk him off the wave and stand between him and his creeps, depending on how well you play the matchup. Because I think Zoe can crush Silas in the early game, but if you make a mistake, like you can easily die to Silas as well. So like basically everything in League, it is matchup dependent. But yes, I think you're right in that freezing or like yeah, the wave in the middle on Zoe I think is fine, but freezing is definitely less effective on Zoe compared to other champions because it's yeah sort of hard for her to harass, and she's very good at harassing under tower and stuff like that. So yeah, I would freeze for safety. Don't freeze too much in order to extend your lead on Zoe. It's probably better to keep the wave in the middle or push. Thanks in advance for the answer and look forward to your coaching. Keep up the amazing YouTube content. Thank you, man. All right, so let's get into this. We have a Zoe versus Zyra matchup, which I don't think I've ever seen this in my life, but my gut feeling is that the early game seems kind of hard because she would push the wave fairly fast. But I think in mid game you'll have a really easy time against their comp, just like one-shotting them over and over. Now, I think in general, you should like okay, Doran's ring on Zoe is definitely the greedier option, right? Like I think Doran's ring is for lanes where you're not gonna take much harass. So it's champions um like Yasuo or Silas or Corki, you know, just champs that aren't particularly strong in the lane phase. Zyra is like, at least bot lane, is well known for being very strong in lane. So I think this is a corrupting pot angle. And if you're not sure what to take, just take corrupting pot. Because my feeling is that this matchup should be very difficult with only 2 potions. I like the E start. Oh yeah, that guy's dead. Okay, it's not really good. Yep, I would start pushing here straight away. I'd probably push a little bit more, just because. Did Zyra base? Did she base? Oh yeah, okay. Zyra's 1 HP. No, I actually like what you did. 1 order on the wave is good, and then chill out. That was yeah, so that's good. I probably wouldn't order the wave anymore then. The reason to order the wave more if she would be here is because like I think Zyra will counter push pretty quickly. But if someone bases at level 1 or isn't in lane for whatever reason, you kind of want to push it very slowly so that the creeps get denied. I think maybe you put one extra auto on the wave than you should have, but as long as these 3 creeps die before she gets here, yeah, okay, I think those... I think you should try and make sure this creep dies before she gets here, so you don't need to auto this creep. And you already have, like... Yeah, you're already going to have your creep advantage. But, like, overall, it's not really a big deal. It's, like, a little optimization, but overall, I really like what you did with the wave. Nice bubble. Very nice bubble. And the auto. Good. Well, that guy's a madman. He just walked in your entire wave and lost half his health. Now here, you should play way, way more aggressive. So you know, by the way, that this guy has like no XP and you're extremely close to level 2. I would say here, like when you hit level 2, you can literally just run at him with your Q and he can't do anything to you. And I'm pretty sure he just used his cooldown on the wave, didn't he? Yes, okay. So right now, things you should be thinking about. Zyra just used her only cooldown. Now, I actually don't know Zyra's cooldowns because I've never played against this champ mid, but I'm guessing that Zyra's Q, just like, it's like a typical mage ability, it's probably at least a 7-second cooldown, or maybe like 9 seconds or something. But if I'm honest with you, I have no idea. But either way, it's like, it's a long enough period that you can hit level 2 with Q here, and you can just run at her. Like, you can maybe even kill Zyra here. Like right now, okay, if you run at Zyra, she's half HP, she's level 2 to level 1, and I don't think she has a cooldown. But even if she does, in 3 seconds you have your Q. So here, you play super safe. You use your Q on the creeps, and like, you're so strong. Like, look at her. Dude, if you just run at her with your E. Yeah, so you need to be super aware of these like temporary and like minute advantages in lane, because the only like advantage in the game really that's like somewhat permanent is gold, right? Because like gold translates into more items, but stuff like an HP advantage or a level advantage, oftentimes they only last, well, HP might last a bit longer, but like level advantage, it might only last for like 10 seconds or something. But in this case, it's a bit longer because you didn't get any XP. But if you take like really good advantage of those kind of times, you can convert it into like permanent advantage, right? Like if you kill this guy here, which I honestly think you can, I'm pretty sure if you saved your Q here and you just walked at this guy with your E, like just, you know, walk at him now, your E's going to come up. I think you just kill him. I think he's dead. But either way, like he would lose all his HP. You could even just ignite him for fun. Like I'm not even joking. Because if you get this guy low, like how's he going to contest you, right? And this is criminal as well, by the way. So right here, once again, cooldown used. You know what? I'm just gonna real quick look up Zyra's cooldown. If you don't know a champ's cooldown, you should probably look it up in champ select. But I'm not. That's a Zyra's story. Yeah, I'll look it up for you. Okay. So Zyra's Q is this one, right? It's a 7-second cooldown. Okay, so that's important to know. 7 seconds at level 1. Wait, did you see that? You did, right? Let me just check. Okay, yeah, you can see that. Okay, so that was a 7-second cooldown, right? So right here, he uses Q, right? And so you're gonna have your Q up probably like 1 second before she does, and you're gonna have your E. And still, she's level 2, level 1 with no cooldown. If you run at her right now, what can she do? She can't do anything. You literally just walk at her and E her, and she's dead. Like she has to flash to E. And so you're playing so safe. You're actually like doing you're playing aggressively, I think, but you're not playing aggressively enough. Like normally, this is like a good amount of aggression, you know, like playing next to the creeps that they want to CS and stuff, so that's good. But you're not playing to how ahead you are. Like you're massively ahead. Level 2 to level 1 all this time. So yeah, you basically just gave her an extremely free level 1, and you didn't punish like any of her cooldowns that she's used so far. And Zoe's very, very good at that, because Zoe is like one of the few mages mid in the early game that can literally just like walk at your opponent if they waste a cooldown. Because like a lot of the time it's like you walk at them. If they try and trade back with you with autos, it's just a free bubble. It's like this is good as well, but I think you could commit more to it. So I think yeah, she's walking up level 2 to level 3. Doesn't really make sense. You missed the bubble, but like that's fine. I think you should just chase here with Q. I'm not sure if you just aim that badly or if you're actually aiming at the creep, but I think if you just go for her, it's really, really good. Again, she was like trading level 3 to level 2. Yeah. You see Kazakh's topside, it was a good ward as well. Yes, this is when Zyra's poke is going to start being pretty annoying for you. And it's much harder for you to play the lane, I would say, from this point, because if we look at it now compared to how it was before, right? Like, it was completely reversed before. Like, before this, you had minion advantage, now she has minion advantage. You had health advantage, now she has health advantage. You had a level advantage, and now it's exactly the same. So, like, all those things that you had in your favor are now, like, in your opponent's favor. I think you killed this guy pretty easily. Okay, good job. Oh, nice. And you got the bubble on the other guy. Yeah, that's really good. Close. I think that's honestly fine, though, as long as you get out. She's dead, right? Okay, nice. So this is really, really good for you. You kind of... I'd say you got a little bit lucky with this, but... Yeah. So, now... You just see your wave. Okay, so this wave, it's like too big for you to get in time. So I would say what you should do is clear out some of this wave and then base, but not all of it. So I think like right here, kill like 3 of these range creeps so that this wave doesn't crash and then base. So I think right now, okay, maybe you can kill 1 more creep if you want, but you should not look to push this. You should just base right now. Because this wave will freeze as long as there's like enough creeps so that it's not like, you know, the wave's closer than on your side, so naturally it kind of pushes out. But you see, like, now this is pushing to him, and you're basing. So, like, you could have had a better wave state if, like, you just thin this out enough that it won't crash, but it's still pushing towards you. So I think at this point, yeah, at this point, I don't think it'll crash. Like, if we look at the minimap, the wave is almost here, and there's, like, enough creeps that you'll be able to... It'll, like, kill most of the waves, so Zyra won't farm it, but you'll still be able to get back in time to farm it. But the problem is... Okay, if you're clearing this out for an item, I can somewhat understand. I can't see your gold, so I don't know for sure. If you're clearing this out for an item, I can somewhat understand, but you should recognize that this wave state is like way worse for you than the other way around, because the problem is, if it's pushing to you, it's like Zyra's pushing in with, she's going to be item disadvantage, and she's going to have no flash, and level disadvantage, right? Because you're still level 4 to level 3. Instead, it's like the wave's going to be pushing out. Zyra is going to equalize the XP advantage because you're, you know, this wave's pushing back in. And you're going to be the one pushing out with no flash. So the only advantage you'll have this time is item advantage, where I think if you let it push to you, you would have XP advantage, item advantage, and sort of flash advantage, just because, like, it's way scarier for her. Well, it's, like, scary for both of you to be pushed in, right? Like, or pushed up, rather, at this moment with no flash. Do you have big item advantage? Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe you did get item off that, so I somewhat understand, but I think it might still be better just to go, like, you know, Dark Seal Amtone Boots or something, just because, like, the wave state would be so good for you, but... And also because you have blue, like, you don't really need the mana, but, you know, it's really not a huge deal, but I just want you to kind of think about that, because I bet there's, like, other situations where you kind of push out where you shouldn't. So... Something definitely to think about. I'd quite like to see your gold, obviously. But I'm assuming that you did clear that wave to get Lost Chapter. Okay, nice bubble. Just kind of... Oh, wait. She pushed the wave anyway. Okay, she should have frozen it. But she pushes the wave anyway, which is very nice for you. You see Kha'Zix's top, which means you can push this wave. And one thing I always say is that when you come back to lane, this is the scariest time normally. So it's not that scary because Zyra decided to push it in. But when you come back to lane, especially when you have no flash, that's like the most common time to get ganked. Because as you can see, there's no wards on either side of mid. It's completely dark, right? And your jungler's on Krug. So if you hadn't seen Kha'Zix here and Zyra had the wave frozen, you should feel very scared. And just in general, when you come back to lane, you want to like re-establish vision as quick as you can. So it's very nice for you that Kha'Zix is showing top, because it means that you're going to be able to regain this vision really easily. Now, I think here, I would be looking maybe to trade on the Zyra here. So the things I'm looking at, once again, level 5 versus level 4. And you just ticked level 5, so I'm pretty sure she's like halfway to level 5. And there's a ghost here. So if she uses cooldowns on the wave, I would run forward, pick up this ghost, and I would try all in her. Okay, so she uses cooldown. Oh, actually, she was closer. Okay. She's closer to level 5 than I thought, but I like what you did here. Okay, now one thing that I'm going to tell you here. This is like... I'm actually about to make a video about this on my main channel, but... Okay, so one thing is, like, when you have a spell that's super important, so like Zoe E, LeBlanc E, Syndra E, you know, like something where the enemy's whole goal is like to dodge that skill shot, because if they get hit by it, they're gonna get like fucked, right? When you have an ability like this, you should try and hold it like a little bit longer, because what happens is people will juke themselves to death. And while that's happening, you can just auto attack them. So this is like really common as LeBlanc and Zoe. As like LeBlanc, right, you dash in, they immediately start going left and right, right? They start going up and down. During that time, you just auto attack them. And they're just like still doing this, but they're not actually going anywhere, right? Because they're thinking about dodging your chain. And then after like 2 seconds, then throw your skill shot. Because worst case, if you missed it, you've already got like 2 autos on them, so the trade's going great for you. But sometimes it's like, you know, they're like, oh, I guess I'm just going to run away. And then you just like throw your ability in a straight line and it hits them. So here, let this Zyra juke herself to death. Just like auto attack her like twice and then E. Because I guarantee, like, the way people always juke here is they go up and down, up and down, up and down. So if you just wait and then throw it in a straight line, it almost always hits them. Like, I promise you, it's like the biggest cheat code to hitting these skill shots. So, and if she doesn't walk up, by the way, if you like get 2 autos on her and she keeps walking down, then it's like super easy for you, because you can just chase her down forever, right? But the problem is, like, you can still all in her, I think. But yeah, you like used your E too early. So yeah, but honestly, I think that's like fine. But if you hit the E, it's probably a kill, right? So we maybe could have got 2 more kills on Zyra, like thinking back to it. Yeah, again, like this is where the corrupting pod would be really nice. Like she has a lot of harass, so I think Doran's Ring not the best in this matchup. Are you dead? Holy shit. Okay. So what happened? I think, yeah, this is like somewhat a product of no corrupting part, but also, I think, yeah, just the way you use your E is not very good, right? Like, you're probably not going to encounter Zyra very often mid, so that's not really something you need to think about. But here, it's like, if you just hold your bubble, it's very difficult for her to actually chase you down. But because you just, like, use your bubble on a plant, like, she can just chase you with auto attacks, right? She gets, like, what, 3 orders on you or 4 orders on you or something? You know, if you bubble here, it's like she either has to walk around and dodge, and then she can't reach you or something like that. But yeah, I feel like this is just kind of corrupting pod difference, and also let me just see how you use your Q here. You know, the Q is good. I think one thing I would also caution you against is just like how aggressively you play on the wave when you don't have Q. Because like the easiest time to punish Zoe is like, well, any champ is when they don't have cooldowns, right? So here you're still playing quite aggressively, even though you have no cooldown and that you don't have a creep to CS, right? Like you're not forced to walk up yet. You're getting pushed anyway. You know, you can just like wait and queue this creep. So I think, yeah, a bit of over aggression, but the biggest things in my mind is you should think a bit more about how to use your E, because it's like really, really important skill. And secondly is just, yeah, corrupting pot in these like poke heavy matchups. So you go Dark Seal refillable. I like that. Come back to lane. Shove this in. Did you miss all those? Yeah, just be a bit more careful with your CSing. You can't really afford to just like miss a bunch like this for free. I'll see if it keeps happening or not, but at this point in the game when you have a lot of AP, right? Before that, there's excuses to miss CS, but at this point, there's not really excuses to miss CS anymore if you're just CSing them with spells. So if you keep doing this, it'll be problematic. If that was just a one-off, it's fine. So I'm just gonna, you know, keep watching. Now here, once again, it's that thing I'm saying. So like when you come back to lane, this is the scariest time. So you can push this wave because Zyra's not even here yet, right? But after this wave, the first thing you need to do is reestablish yourself some vision. So you clear this wave, and then you're walking up to the tower with no vision and no flash. So this is insanely greedy. Okay, good. I don't really like that ward. The ward's decent, but Like, you have enough priority that this can be a deeper ward. It could be a ward on raptors rather than just here. Like, just think, right? The deeper you can get your wards, generally, the more valuable they are. So, yeah, it's like, if you can get a ward, like, yeah, on raptors, I would say it'll be really good. That's probably, yeah, or even, like, the bush right here. Just because, like, yeah, I don't know. If you get more time and you have more priority over mid, one of the ways that translates into pressure is just deeper wards, right? And I think, yeah, ping that bush is good. Ping that bush is good. So it's like, they're good wards, right? Especially the pink is a good ward, but they could be even better. So Q, R, ignite this guy. I actually don't mind that. It's probably better to hold the ignite, but it's fine. Now here, I would honestly be looking to ult forward and E here. Yep, that's what you're doing. Good try. Come on, guy. We'll just come kill this guy, right? Hopefully. Okay, you have to flash, but it's all good. Oh, she didn't flash the bubble. Okay, Zyra dies. Oh, good. You can shove this wave and then reset. Oh, what happened? Okay, so here, well, it's a couple things. First off, you actually get vision of Zyra. So I think if you're paying more attention, you should be fine. But also, just like, be... Oh, how did I highlight that? Okay, be really conscious about like where your side the hug to is. So you right now you have like perfect vision top side. So if you play right here, like you can see us this wave standing right here, right? Like you can just queue. Like you're completely safe. So obviously if you see Xerath, like it's easy to react, right? But the bigger thing is like you actually got lucky that you saw Xerath. Like you have no wards and you only saw Xerath because of an Ashe E. So I think ideally it's like, or in most games, it's like you have no idea there's Zeraths here. You might know just like because they're not showing bot, but like you have no direct information that he's here. But it shouldn't matter because you should be playing like right here. So the problem is like, you know, yeah, if you can just run that way, you're out, and then you got hit by that anyway. That sucks. That does suck. But it's, yeah, no, it sucks. It was a pretty avoidable death, and Kha'Zix got it, so it's a little scary. Okay, you're still out of mid, so that's fine. Um. Oh wait, how'd you hit a bubble? Okay, really nice, really nice. One thing. Does she have cooldowns? Let me just check. She just used one. I think you should be really like. I don't know. I can understand not going for the auto, but the auto is also a lot of extra damage because it would give you like your passive proc and electrocute. But yeah, I can maybe understand not wanting to kind of get hit by her spells or whatever, so I guess it's fine. And you probably already know that it's a lot more damage, obviously, if you get autos in. That was good. She tried to ult you and missed. Here, I think you should play really, really aggressive. She's just shoving the wave, which is fine. Ooh, that was close. Okay, just shove the wave. You're... Well, yeah, you're gonna get a kill. Yeah, no, that's good. Oh yeah, that was good overall. So you come back mid, hit this. Now at this point it is sort of hard for you to get priority, I think. I think Zoe is a bit too strong. I mean, not Zoe. I think Zyra's push is a bit too strong. A 1-for-1 in river, you come walk to this. That was, yeah, I like how you did that. That guy's dead to ignite. Hit the Herald. Okay, this is all looking really, really good. And you have Smite. I see, you're gonna hit this. Sweet. Yeah, okay, this stage of the game is all going really well for you. I don't think there's really much else you can do other than what you're doing, so I like that. I think you should be quite scared, or not scared. Like, okay, so after this, right, you've just used your ignite, and presumably you have a ton of gold. So your kind of goal here is to just like get a base off at like a convenient time, without really like losing too much for it. So you need to be super careful about like losing HP here because, yeah, like I think you use like a lot of mana to trade on these waves. You know, you're like ulting forward. I think, do you use bubble here at all? So you're using your R a lot, but you don't really have the mana to justify doing that, because I think it's like if you run out of mana here, you will just be forced to base, and then you're going to lose a wave for free. Here, I think you should try conserve mana, at least until you get your next level up and you get your next Lost Chapter proc, and that's going to allow you to get a wave for free. Now, I do actually like this base because it's like you could stay in lane and just keep bleeding out and not pressure the map. Oh, I actually would have committed to it. Like, it sucks that you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose a lot here, right? Like, you're gonna lose a wave, and you're gonna lose a plate. But I almost feel like you sort of have to base. Like, just because you've wasted all your mana, you can't pressure the map at all. You're just gonna, even though you're ahead, you're gonna be super useless here. So maybe you can find a better base timing. Yeah, like maybe now is slightly better. But you're still gonna lose a plate and a wave, right? Yeah, so I think overall, like my goal here, I guess like when I come back to lane, like let's just go all the way back. When I come back to lane, like right here, my goal would be, okay, I want to try stay in lane with enough mana long enough that I can base before the next cannon wave, because that way, you know, like basing before cannon waves is good because it takes longer for them to shove it in, and also they can tank the tower for longer. So here, it's like this was just the cannon wave, so you kind of need to survive until the next cannon wave, which is 3 waves away, right? So if you use all your mana, it's like eventually you just have to base, and that causes you to just like lose. You lost what, 4 creeps on this wave and the turret plate? I think if you'd managed that better, it would have been pretty good. And those really add up. Like those base timings really add up because you just kind of lose like a lot of gold for free. Now you're so strong here. You should look to just honestly just like look to kill him. Like you have a massive item advantage, you have a level advantage, and he like hasn't based, right? So you're so insanely strong. I think like okay, he just you okay, yeah, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. Nice. This is really good. You noticed, or I hope you noticed, that he used all his cooldowns on the wave. So you literally just run at him. In fact, what the fuck? I'm not even sure you should. Well, no, ulting forward I guess is fine. I was gonna say, like, he doesn't have ease. You could maybe walk at him, but okay, you ult forward. Good flash, actually. Nice, you get the solo kill. And then come and take turret plates. Now, once again, I will remind you, this is a very scary time. I think it's fine because you have flash, right? Does their jungler show? Okay, actually, you see Kha'Zix's bot, so you're fine to do this. I was going to say, like, pushing up to the tower with no vision is a bit scary, but you saw Kha'Zix. I also think you could quickly take the opportunity to just ward, like, up here somewhere. Like, you could just ult towards it, ward over the wall, and then just come back. Also, I think because you saw Kha'Zix's bot side, like, you see Kha'Zix in bot lane right now, regardless of if you have wards or not, you should be hugging to top side. Because if you hug towards bot side, there's a chance that you get ganked by Kha'Zix here, although I'm not sure he can actually kill you. Oh, wait. I think you win this, though. You could play that a lot better. You killed him, but you should play this a lot differently. So, okay. First off, like, hugging topside is going to make you safer from this gank, right? Second thing, this is fine. You get the E on him. Now, what you should do here is you should ult. You should ult to create distance, and then Q, so like ult maybe towards the smite, and then Q here, like Q down and bring it back. So what you did here instead is like you Q'd in melee range, so it did less damage, and you got no value out of your ult whatsoever, see? Like, I guess, like, you got away from him for a bit, but you played it pretty poorly mechanically, but just, I guess, like, the real takeaway is that if you end up melee range with someone like this and you hit a bubble on them, the best thing you can do is ult away and then get a Q with it, you know? Like, rather than going for a melee range Q, just quickly ult and then Q backwards, or like, you know, Q here and then Q onto him. I mean, you know how it works, right? So this should be like actually a free kill, and it ends up extremely close. And if you die, this would be very, very bad, right? Because you had a bounty. But good, you get the kill. So we take those. Now, Medjai's, it's very alpha. I like it. I think it's good. Honestly, yeah, I think it's really good, this game. Like, I don't think they really should have threat on you. The only actual threat to you is Kha'Zix, really. And I think he's, like, behind enough that you can play around him. You get a nice kill onto Zyra there. And you get Medjai stacks, so we love that. I just realized I'm, like, 30 minutes into this VOD, and we're only 14 minutes in game. Okay, you have a flash. You hit a bubble. Nice. 7 kills. Now here... Is there a dragon? No, there's no dragon soon. I think you could probably kill this guy. I'm pretty sure ult here, WE, and then run at him with the Q probably kills him, but... Okay, yeah, that works too. This kills him. Oh, he flashed. Oh, wait, he was still in your Q range. Okay. I think you should base. Yep, which you do. So this is really good. Yeah, I honestly like how you've played, like, the early mid-game. I think the early game was pretty poor, but I think you've played the early mid-game pretty good. Now, you do kill this guy, but I'm just going to show you why this is bad. So, once again, coming back to lane is the scariest time, right? And so, the best way to regain control after coming back to lane... Like, you see Kha'Zix topside, so I guess maybe you weren't thinking about Zyra being here, but you see the plants, right? But just in general, when you come back to lane in the mid-game, in the late game, just like any time of the game, right? The easiest way to get control is to push a wave and then wait for them to show on it. Because, like, okay, let's say this is the mid-game and they have like 5 people camping this bush. If you just shove a mid-wave and no one answers it, if they just let it die for free, 1, you just denied them a wave under their tower, but 2, it's like, okay, you see them not showing and they're just losing gold, so you just need to wait, right? If they do show, you know, if they go and farm that wave, then you know where they are. So here, my kind of thinking would be, you know, I don't see Zyra and I have no control of either side of mid and I have no one near me to help me. I'll just shove this in and I will literally stand here. Or you could ward from over this side, but you could just wait for Zyra to show here. And if she doesn't show here, then she just loses a wave, right? Instead, you walk in a Zyra, and this, even if you get this kill, by the way, like, okay, if you get the kill, it's good. But one thing you should also think about is getting chunked is almost as bad as dying. Like, not quite, because obviously if you die, you lose a shit ton of gold and Medjai stacks. But if you get chunked, you can no longer pressure the map. And when you have to base, you also lose creeps because you can't farm. And it's just like, right now, you're a 7-kill Zoe, so the map should be fucking terrified of you. Like, if you walk bar, you just one-shot anyone that you find. But the problem is, it doesn't matter. I've said this in a couple other coaching VODs, but it doesn't matter right now if you had 100 kills, because no matter how fed you are, if you're 10 HP, you know, you can't pressure the map. So this is really problematic, and if you find, like, you struggle to, like, extend your lead further, having random times when you get, like, chunked out like this, it hurts a lot. It hurts, like, a lot. Because, okay, let's go. Right here, you come on the map, 16 minutes, okay? So from 16 minutes, you come and get chunked. You push another wave. Now this guy comes. I think you kill this guy, probably. Oh, not quite. Okay, nice movement. I'm just going to skip over this for a bit. Okay, so from 16 minutes until 17:30, you were like 1 HP on the map. And you finally... get back on the map and are, like, realistically able to pressure it. Like, I think I'll go back to the Zyra thing in a second. So I would say, like, it's been a full 2 minutes and now you can pressure the map again. And that's insane because you're, like, this insanely strong mid-game character and you have 7 kills and you're, like, you actually one-shot anyone, but you just spent 2 minutes, like, not pressuring the map, right? So that's, like, really, really bad. It's, like, 2 minutes where the enemy team gets to just, like, farm back into it. So let's go back to this. So we got chunked. Xerath comes mid. I think that you should probably just base. Like, looking at this, I think you just base now, get back on the map, and then you can pressure as hard as possible. Because, like, looking at this, this is, again, really really scary. You have no vision around mid, and I believe, okay, so you saw Kha'Zix top river. You saw Kha'Zix top river. But like, you know, Kha'Zix could easily be coming like behind you mid or something. You going for this wave when your jungle's showing top, when your bot lane's basing, when you have no vision, you have no flash and no HP. This is so greedy, man. Like, you should 100% die for this, lose your gold, lose your Medjais, and then the game is still really winnable, but it's like just you give back so much. So it's like a lot of things. One, you stay on the map too long. Two, I think there were like tons of things there telling you that that was like really bad. And obviously getting Chunk for free in the first place was pretty bad. Now this guy comes to try and kill you. Admittedly, you play it. Yeah, you play it well. You have a lot of movement speed, so dodging this is easy. Yeah, I mean, mechanically you played it very well. I just think it was really kind of risky, or like, no, yeah. Because like, what does like killing this Xerath do for the game? It doesn't really do anything except give you Medjai stacks, which is nice. Like, don't get me wrong, but like you would be way more pressuring if you just based. So, I guess like I don't know if that all made sense, but the TLDR of that was getting chunked is pretty much as bad as dying, and the longer you can't pressure the map, it's really bad. So like, there was 3 mistakes. There was like face checking that area when you can wait for Zyra, which caused you to get chunked. There was not accepting that you got chunked and just basing. And then also pushing that wave was super greedy. I guess that was all of it. Okay, so like, yeah, like now you're really strong. You're back on the map, full HP, full mana. You have flash and you have ignite in 20 seconds. You're just so strong at the moment. I probably would have gone to this fight, I'm pretty sure. In the bot river. Actually, nah, maybe the fight's already over. So just push mid instead is fine. Yeah, and Rengar was top, so you're not really contesting that drag anyway. So actually, I think you made the right decision. Now, this point in the game, things become a bit weird for Zoe because in pro play, I would say Zoe would just stay mid because Zoe's one of the few mids that's like actually very bad at side laning. But the problem is like, yeah, ideally in solo or in competitive rather, you have an AD. You pick Zoe with an AD that can function in the side lane, but Ashe can't really, and especially not when she's that weak. So here, I think you should probably base and go top. Even though it's not ideal for you, you don't want to end up with no farm, and you also don't want to share all your gold with Ashe. So I think here, I probably would have just based and gone top a while ago, and I think anything other than that is kind of just not that good. So like, let's look. Right now, after clearing this wave, you have 134 CS in 19 minutes, okay? Or 135. You come here, kind of do some weird shit on the blue while there's a top wave pushing into you, so that would be really nice. I mean, you get this guy's flash, which is, you know, that's great. And we get a chunk on Kha'Zix, but I think... Yeah, okay, so you're forced to flash, and like, does this really achieve that much? Like, not really. So it's a minute later, and we still haven't farmed. Okay, eventually you come and get... Ooh. Do you? Are you giving that gold to Rengar? I guess he has item or something? But I think that's pretty bad. I think the way better play here is just like... Okay, right now, you guys aren't really playing for anything. I would just base, go top, catch that wave from Shyvana, maybe push it out if you feel like you're strong enough. I think you probably are strong enough. Like, you're 2 levels on her and she was 0-3. If you could push... Oh, yeah, so Rengar takes that wave. Yeah, so you've actually been on, like, the same CS for, again, like, the past 3 minutes. Now, coming mid here is actually good, I would say. Rengar's pushing out top. Like, there's no point you walking there as well. Poppy already pushed out bot. So I actually like coming mid here, and you should just steal some of Ashe's CS. Don't think there's any other way to get CS here. One thing I will bring up is if you do end up with this many Medjai stacks, you can actually go Rabbit on second if you want. It's definitely greedier because you won't have the extra HP. But if there is a time to go Rabbit on second, like if you have a stacked Medjai, is probably it because you have enough AP to make it worth it. So again, it's not a huge deal, I would say, but if you feel really confident, you could probably go for it, and it is more damage. I think that was pretty greedy again, by the way. Like they're not showing on midwave, right? Like, same concept again. Push this midwave, they will show, then you can walk in and take vision. But you're, like, you're like skipping steps. You're walking in without them showing on midwave, and you should probably die for this. Like if they've got MF, yeah, you don't see MF, Zyra, Zyra, and if they're all three in here and this E hits, you probably die. So I think that was very greedy by you. Once again, just wait for that midwave to go in, and then you can do literally whatever you want. You only need to be patient for like 10 more seconds. I think that also could be like a very big contributor, by the way, of like struggling to extend your leads, because if you have random deaths like this and you give over, 10 Magi stacks and 900 gold, it's going to be so bad. It's just going to be so much gold. But like this is good now. Okay, like see how different this is? Like now you have control, now you have the vision, and you have like a really good spot to poke on this tower. So this is super good. This is like actually what Zoe wants. Yeah, you get out. That's kind of surprising. I would not, I personally, okay, I actually saw MF coming down, so I guess you could have known, but you would have been looking at this. I wouldn't have expected MF to be flanking from topside, so honestly don't really blame you for this. But I guess like you saw them all top, so yeah, actually I guess because you saw them all top, it is safer to poke from bot side. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's it. Like you know they were all top before, so they kind of like have topside control, and you only have one ward rather than like some deeper wards. So yeah, I guess play the bot side here, and then you wouldn't get chunked. But this isn't too bad, I don't think. So you get Shadow Flame, come back on the map. By the way, like you haven't farmed pretty much anything in a while, which was partly because like Rengar took that wave, but also I feel like let's just go back. I feel like there was time to get farm here somewhere. Okay, sharing with Ash. I think here you should probably go to your blue. Although Rengar's pushing top, maybe you should stay. I guess you should stay. I just feels really weird not getting any CS for a while, but like definitely now you should be deploying to look to get blue. So you kill this guy. Yeah, okay. So you can catch up a lot in CS here. You can farm the mid wave. Here you need to go like, well, I guess you can go another mid wave if you want, but I would be looking at like all the camps that are up right now. There's like a blue, there's raptors here, wolves, setting up for dragon. There's like a lot of gold that you can find. Oh, that hit. Did it? Yeah, it did. You have flash, so you can get out. This is pretty greedy again, though. So, I think here, being this far up on the map when your entire team is off the map is pretty scary for a start. Like, if you look, one thing that's super important in the mid game is to think about where your team's positions are, and where their team's positions are. So, like, looking at your team, you have two people dead, and the other two are just coming out of base, and you don't know where most of their team is, and they have one person dead. So this is like kind of scary. I think like this is fine because you have a flash, right? But anything more than this is quite scary. I think you just like CS this wave and then go blue or go raptors or do something that's not like you're like ulting into the enemy team with no one around you and no knowledge of where their team is. Oh yeah, okay. And you die for that. So that's obviously like very, very bad because like if you were alive with how strong you are and able to harass them around this dragon, like it would be so easy for you. That death, it's very, very punishing. You lost Medjai's, you lost your shutdown. Rengar's just pushing bot. Are they doing Baron, by the way? They should be, right? Or are they not? Kazakh's MF. Huh, maybe they're actually not doing Baron. I think they could have Baron there. Okay, Ash is basing. You clear this wave. Once again, just like... I think even this is honestly a little risky. Just like your entire team off the map again. Did you wait for them to show on the mid wave? Okay, I think here, again, wait for them to show on the mid wave, and then you can do this. Like, you start walking in here before you even CMF. I think once you CMF, it's probably fine. But yeah. Hit the bubble. Nice dodging. Yeah, you can't really push out the side lane very easily. This is kind of the best you can do at the moment. Yeah, you probably do just have to share CS. It's honestly not too bad at this point if Rengar is farming because it's just a lot easier for him to clear waves. Nice. Good one shot. I like how he missing pings that, man. Like, come on, everyone knows that Zoe literally one hits you if you get hit by an E. It's just gotta not get hit by it. Simple. This is good. Now I think here you should probably be thinking about playing to top side a little bit. It'd be nice if you guys could get some more vision before sieging this. It looks like top is safe because you see Kha'Zix here, Zyra dead, MF showing top. So I think you're pretty safe to play up here instead, but I think it's not really what Zoe wants to just play in like the middle of a lane. I think playing over the wall would be slightly better. But it's not a huge deal, I don't think. Just a small optimization. That's good. You get the valuable target, so we like that. I would question using flash here. So at this point in the game, right, you should be thinking that, well, one thing I always say is like you need to evaluate like which targets are the most important, right? So in my mind, it's probably like Zyra, maybe number one, or probably not actually with the current items. Maybe like MF1, Xerath 2, Zyra 3, Kha'Zix 4, Shiv 5 or something, right? In order of importance with like, MF being the most important, Shyvana being the least. So using your flash to again kill this guy that's like pretty much worthless, it just seems not really worth it. Like your flash could mean like a dead Xerath or something later in the game if you hold it, and I think that kill almost doesn't matter. It's like the least important target on their team. They have no bounty. It doesn't really help you get anything extra because like she's already chunked, which is as bad as dying, as you now know. And then you get one shot by Xerath, so I think here I would probably just base. Again, you probably have a shit ton of gold and you're trying to pressure the map on like 10 HP, which is just, if you just base, you get back on the map able to pressure with full HP way, way sooner. Or if you have flash, you can flash this, but ideally you're not having to flash that. Now you went Void. I don't think Void's really the play. So I kind of understand why you went Void because this guy has MR, but like he doesn't matter, right? The important targets you need to kill being Zyra, MF, and Xerath, they have no MR, so you shouldn't care. And like I can sort of also understand building it because like you have 2 AP on your team and you also have like some other extra magic damage in the form of Ashe. But I think if this is just like a Rabadon's, it'd be so much damage. And I really don't think the yeah, I just don't think you need it. Like they have no MR on the targets that you actually want to kill. If their tanks get tanky, that's fine. Like you don't need to kill those guys anyway. So they get Baron, and this is, I would say, in large part due to your death. Like your team could prevent it, right? But let's just say instead of dying here, you're based and back on the map. If they start Baron after killing Lux, like you will stop them. You will be so strong and you will make sure they don't get that. So the game is in a pretty scary spot at the moment because they just got Baron and they're probably about to get their 4th dragon. Although maybe you get this. Okay, actually you guys got a kill. So you should be really trying to find a way to get onto their carries, but I think the carries aren't even here. Okay, so you get this drag. So that's good. I think here you're probably just playing to neutralize their Baron. Ooh, I don't really like that ult. Yeah. I think, yeah, I mean, again, it's like back to the mid-game thing. Like your Ashe isn't here, your Rengar is showing in bot lane, so it's like very, very high chance that they look for an engage right now. And you're just not really playing the Zoe's identity, you know? You're not poking from over any walls where you're safe. You're not like even accessing their carries. You're just like clearing a wave in front of the rest of your team with no flash while your jungler is showing bot. It's just kind of asking to die. And then I think if you'd actually just walked, you probably would have got out. But I think you were probably just like surprised, right? Like I think this is that kind of thing where if you're expecting it, you can probably play it better, but ultimately Kha'Zix is a jump scare and it probably just scared the fuck out of you because I get jump scared sometimes, like not even joking. A jump scare the other day, face shaking a bush. So this is quite rough now because once Zoe starts falling behind, and especially if it's Baron, it's very hard to create the angles you want. So yeah, this is a tough spot to be in. Yeah, I think your kind of time to carry this game is just a little bit over now. Like you've itemized not that well. Like you haven't gotten the Rabadons. Um, you've lost Magi stacks, and like now that this guy has a ton of lifesteal and like Zyra's poke is so strong, you're kind of just outscaled, right? Or it's not like you get outscaled, but I guess it's just like your time to 1v9 is over. So now it's like up to you guys as a team. But like you absolutely, Zoe is like pretty much uncontested strongest character on the map here for like the first 25 minutes. Um, but yeah, you kind of just like threw too many times and didn't really, yeah, you just kind of like died too much for free and didn't extend your lead sometimes, stuff like that. Hmm. I think now the game just ends, right? Like you can't really wave clear this. Yeah. Okay, so let's get up the old notepad. This was a long VOD review. I just kept talking. Okay, so what is this? This is Zoe versus Zyra. Never experienced that one before. So early game, I think your early game could improve significantly. So a lot of it, I think, like cooldown punishment is really important, especially Zoe. I think. I'm just gonna make a different section for itemization really quick. So corrupting pot versus poke champ. Rabadon's third when carries have no MR. Could even consider Rabadon second. So I'll just put all those in there. I think this one's really important though. Not having corrupting pot in this matchup seems pretty rough. So early game was the CD punishment. I think there were times I remember where you could have got deeper wards. I think also just like I'm just gonna put abusing temporary advantages. Like this comes back to the CD punishment thing, but your temporary advantages are like cooldowns, levels, HP, and maybe items. So like whenever you have any of these as an advantage, like you have item advantage, HP advantage, level advantage, or a cooldown advantage because they just use theirs, that you should be like looking to punish really hard. But most of the time, you don't really play aggressively enough. I don't think, at least in this matchup. I think also you should think, or I guess like be more patient slash think more with your E. So remember there was a time where like you could just be autoing him and holding your E for a second and then you maybe get a kill. And there was also the time where you just like waste your E into his plant and then you die for that. And I think also another thing to kind of go with CD punishment is like also respect your own cooldowns. Like if you're playing really aggressively with you having no cooldowns, it's like her turn to punish, right? So yeah, there was like I think that time you died, you like were playing pretty aggressively on the wave, even though you just used your Q. And it's like the same thing for her. Like I can tell that neither of you really know how to punish cooldowns or respect your own cooldowns, right? So yeah, there was that. I can't remember really if there was any like I think there was a little bit of hugging in the early game. Remember, I think there's that time you got ganked by Xerath and you were hugging away from your vision. So hug to your vision slash safety more. You need to be like really conscious of this because you shouldn't have known that Xerath was coming. You just got lucky that you saw him with Ash E. Otherwise, like you should have just died because you weren't hugging correctly to your vision. So from what I remember, that was the early game. There was also like one weird base timing, or maybe two weird base timings. Remember there was the one where you like pushed out the wave, but I think you were farming last chapter, so like I can maybe forgive that one, but just think about your wave state a lot. And then there was the second one, which was like you ended up having to give a wave and a plate because you didn't like play around like basing on the cannon wave and you just kind of based randomly, and also you wasted a bunch of mana. So I would say just like yeah, just like this is hard because I haven't seen enough of your games to just like tell you that your base timing is always bad, but this is just something you should think about and maybe like review on your own. Just like go back in the game and just like review your first couple bases and see if they were good times. I think that could go a long way. And then, so the mid game, in my opinion, was the far bigger problem. So in mid game, things to consider: teammates positions, enemy positions, wave positions, like where the waves are on the map, like vision. You're making, so your kind of steps in the mid game is like, okay, push the wave, which makes them show, which then allows you to go toward their jungle, which then allows you to push further. You know, like, okay, so you push the mid wave when it's in the middle, and then when it reaches their tower, they show and farm it, which means you can go in and ward their jungle. And now because you have more vision, you can push up further, and then you can repeat that. Also, one thing I just remembered is when you come back on the map, get vision like as soon as you possibly can. Yeah, so like your mid-game steps were really, really bad, and like there's a lot of times where you were too far up. There was a lot of times where you weren't waiting for people to show on waves. I'm even just gonna write, wait for people to show on waves, because so many times you're just like walking in and like actually asking to die. And then I think in team fights and stuff yourself, I actually think you played pretty well mechanically. I don't have any problems really with your mechanics. I guess there was that one like little Kha'Zix thing where you could have altered backwards and then queued him, but for the most part, I think your Zoe mechanics were pretty good. I'd say your team fighting though, be like very aware of which targets are most valuable. So like remember that pretty much Shyvana and Kha'Zix are not really valuable at all. So like you shouldn't be investing flashes for them. Ideally, you're finding bubbles and stuff onto other people. And like you don't want to be just poking in the middle of the lane. Like you want to be finding walls, which you sometimes did, to be fair. So yeah, I think like team fight positioning was probably a thing. Like you were positioning too far up in the lane. Sometimes you were like hugging the wrong side. Like remember they showed all their members top and you were like still on the top side of the tower. I think that was a bit harder to recognize, but you could have recognized it, you know, poke from the bot side instead. And then it wasn't a thing for this game, but I'm just going to put it in here. Just like assess their engage tools. So they didn't really have engage tools this game, but if it's something you struggle with a lot, you know, like stuff like the Ornn ult, the Leona ult, you should probably just like assess that and think about how you're going to play around it. So I think that was pretty much it. There might even have been more of it, but I honestly just, like, the VOD was, well, not the VOD, the review was so long that I might have forgotten stuff, so you might want to go back at some point and just, like, note down some of the things if I forgot to put them here. But I think I got most of it. Obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. But yeah, otherwise, man, I think if you clean up kind of your mid-game so that you're not throwing like so many kills back to them, and also like you snowball your early game a lot more with these things, you should see some really good improvements. So good luck, man. And yeah, thanks for getting a review.